Hey everybody, it's Radish Head and I'm back with some more Upland analysis. Look at your screen. Do you recognise this? I used to do these weekly analysis pieces back when UPX World was around. Obviously it's still down, but I've revamped the slides to use the Upland Data Hub data from Discord that I've talked about in a previous video. And I've also just generally streamlined the process, so I'm only really talking about cities that people have the most interest in. So in this episode, I'll be talking about Chicago, New Orleans, and Kansas City. If you guys have any specific requests for analysis, feel free to let me know in the comments, and I'll definitely take it on board. Latest news: still awaiting Nashville release date. As of the time of recording, you can now travel into Nashville on the terminals, which I have done, so I'm floating around there somewhere. But we don't have a date for the actual release. We're expecting that it's going to be very, very soon. So the prices are just generally a bit subdued across the whole metaverse because of that. But you'll see that the prices have gone up a little bit on where they were. I think they bottomed out about the 21st, 22nd. They peaked about the 30th, which is yesterday as of the time of recording. And they seem to have ticked down a little bit. But a bit of uncertainty about buying properties on the second-hand market. And of course, if you like the content, feel free to give me a like. And if you want to see similar content in the future, I'd love it if you clicked that subscribe button. But without further ado, let's talk a bit about Chicago. On the top left, you've got the floor price. And I'd encourage you to just pause the video and take a look at these, if you want to look at any specific neighborhood. But you can see the floor price there as it bounces between the highest and the lowest point that the floor price has reached. And I've been tracking this since the 21st, and it's been between 4,200 and 4,800, which is quite a lot as a percentage. As I said earlier, it seems that it peaked about the 29th, 30th, and it's steadily been dropping a little bit. But overall, it's not looking too bad in Chicago. In the bottom left, I've got an interesting table. This was inspired by a recent video by DJ Shorts. If you're not subscribed, I'd seriously recommend checking him out. But he was making a comment that instead of just buying UPX with dollars in the store, why not buy properties with dollars and then sell them at at the market price in UPX? So what I've done here is I've taken the floor USD price for each collection and the floor UPX price, and then on the right there, that is the percentage discount that you'd be getting if you bought the floor dollar unit and sold it in UPX. And I think anything above 20% is worth looking at, and some of these are well above 20%. Look at Logan Square. You can buy a property for $7 and sell it for 12,000 UPX. That is a 42% discount. So yeah, that's basically just to flag that in some of these, it's mostly the blue neighborhoods in Chicago. Give it a look, because that's what I've highlighted there, and I think I'll be doing that for sure. And then on the right here, you've got all the collections, how many properties are for sale, the minimum UPX price in thousands, and the minimum markup percent. So yeah, as I say, give it a look, give it a pause. Just generally things to call out. The exclusive collections in Chicago are quite expensive, aren't they? In terms of markup, they're all about 1,000%. Aside from Loop, which is about half that, but I know that the minimum floor in Loop is well higher than the other exclusives. So the only competitive one I'd say has a chance of rising in the near future might be Gold Coast. Sort of stands out as something a little bit with a bit of room to grow. But yeah, Overall, Chicago's looking pretty healthy, isn't it? I think it is. Maybe Wicker Park is a bit low for a limited collection in a tier 1 city, but we'll see how that trends over the coming weeks. Let's go on to New Orleans, and instantly you'll see that the floor price UPIX graph looks very similar to the Chicago one. And in fact, a lot of things to do with New Orleans are kind of trending a similar way to Chicago in terms of the movement of the collection prices. Not as many USD discounts available in New Orleans as there were in Chicago, but they are there. And in terms of collections, I sort of made this point in an earlier video, but the minimum markup floor in New Orleans, it's still trending up. So we're at 90% for non-collection. So obviously, ideally, we want that to be at least 100%. And I think after Nashville, it may well be. But yeah, it was at like 75% recent, like not that long ago. So, you know, the fact that it's at 90% now means people are getting a bit more comfortable with the properties they're holding. You know, all the paper hands they've sold out. But overall, I think the point I made in a previous video still holds, that look at the minimum prices of the exclusive collections in New Orleans. We've got, you know, 55k UPIX for Garden District and the CBD. The markup is, you know, it's less than 300%, and that's a bit low. I mean, if you compare that to obviously New Orleans isn't quite the same as Chicago, but the Chicago markups for the limited collections are higher than the New Orleans exclusive ones in a lot of cases, and that just seems to me that there's a lot of room to grow there. And man, Hain Boulevard, you can still grab a Hain Boulevard property for 170k UPIX. Seems very, very, very cheap for a rare anywhere in Upland. Cleveland rares are more than that. So yeah, definitely room to grow there in my opinion. So I'll be keeping an eye on New Orleans for sure. And then finally, Kansas City. I'd argue it's not quite as hot as you know, New Orleans. Definitely not as hot as Chicago, and I think that's kind of reflected in the floor price. It bounced really hard off that 5k, and it's plummeting back towards the 4.4 mark. So will we find a new low in the Kansas City floor? Remains to be seen, but I don't know. I mean, look at this table on the right. No collection min markup. We're still less than 80. It's struggling, and I mean, I've had a scroll around Kansas City. There's a lot of it still to be minted. You know, it's a lot of FSA, so we're kind of relying on a lot of new players entering the game for this number to really start ticking up, I think. But then I thought the same thing about Staten Island and Rutherford. They were struggling for a while, and I was like, they're not going to get enough new players to fill out these tier 3 cities, and they did. And you know what? The second that last minted, you know, that last property minted in Staten Island, the floor price just started rocketing. So it could happen in Kansas City. You know, these prices could start jumping up, but I just don't think it's going to be any time soon. And then in terms of you know, this USD discount thing, Main Street, look at that. You can buy for 15k, possibly sell for you can buy it for $15, sell it for double that in UPIX. That is the largest like bump that I've seen in terms of, you know, like a reasonably priced collection. So that might be worth a look at if you're looking to pump some money into the game. Maybe buy some Main Street properties in Kansas City. It's worth a look. Then on my table on the right here, yeah, I mean, Troost Avenue looks a bit cheap, doesn't it? Minimum markup from 169%. You know, that's no doubt is going to be some of the more expensive properties on Troost Avenue with a markup that low. But regardless, that's a really good collection bonus. So even if it's like a million UPIX, that sounds worth it to me for a 169% markup on a exclusive collection. I'll have a look at that for sure. But yeah, overall, and look at this, another sign of weakness. Shoal Creek. It's a standard collection. It's a collection, and the minimum markup is 100%. It's a collection, and people are only selling them for the mint. That seems mad to me, and there's a lot of properties for sale in Shoal Creek. So I don't think Shoal Creek is actually fully minted yet, so that could explain it. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on Kansas City, but I'm just not feeling it at the moment. But that is it for my analysis for today. But just let me know, how you're feeling about the the style that I've got for these videos. If there's something else that you want to see regular, because I just kind of decided on this format based on what I thought people would find the most useful. But it's the comments that really keep me going. So thank you so much for your support and your feedback. And as I say before, give me a like if you liked it, and feel free to subscribe if you want to see more of this in the future. And let's just keep an eye out for Nashville, right? It's going to be super exciting, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.